massive day for the unemployed. Bill Burr just ended his career. There was a comedy show in Saudi Arabia and Bill Burr was on the roster. Nobody cared about 98% of the comedians, but Bill Burr is different because Bill Burr is virtue signaling 24/7 about billionaires and then bends his back and works for trillionaires.
Can you fucking believe that? How much fucking money do you need to make, you know? You're gonna take a gig where you're gonna go dance like a goddamn fucking clown for a mass murderer's kids?
Bill Burr keeps hyping up Luigi Mangione for supposedly sticking it to the rich people, but when legitimately evil rich people dangled money in front of him, he was happy to be their dancing monkey. And to make matters worse, bro doubled down.
Comedian Bill Burr taking to his podcast to defend his performance at a Saudi Arabian comedy festival in the Middle East last week.
Just like us, to like, you can talk about anything, you know, other than a couple things, which was basically, you know, religion, don't make fun of the royals. Everyone was happy. The people that were doing the festival were thrilled. It was a mind-blowing experience. Definitely top 3 experiences I've ever had. And it was great to experience that part of the world.
He paints himself as this progressive guy for the people who calls out hypocrisy and then gets caught doing something completely contradictory to everything he stands for. And it's not like Saudi Arabia blackmailed him either. Technically, Bill Burr is right about never taking money from billionaires. He actually took it from trillionaires. Apparently, Bill's real problem with the billionaires were they weren't paying him enough money. We got corrupted Bill Burr before GTA 6.
Should he have to defend himself for something like this?
Well, the thing is that it is funny that he went so hard, right? I would have, I think, respected it more if he was just like, you know what? The money was real good.
Yeah, right.
I took
he was
that.
like, Saudi Arabia is perfect.
You know what? I hate to say it, but maybe Saudi Arabia is right in not letting women talk because what the hell are they yapping about? It's not about him selling out. It's the fact that he positions himself as this like moral, ethical guy and then does something he stands against.
My new perspective is there's nothing wrong with being a billionaire. But if somebody is working 40 hours a week, 160 hours a month, and they can't make their rent, you're not paying them enough money. Maybe you should just be worth $900 million.
Yeah.
Like, how does a CEO take a 8-figure bonus
When it should be a 9-figure bonus. But to make matters worse, some of his comedy peers actually declined Saudi Arabia, like Shane Gillis, for instance.
They were asking me to go to the Middle East soon.
What? Where? Why?
Saudi Arabia and UAE or Dubai.
Dubai?
I think I'm gonna pass.
So if you're watching this in Saudi Arabia,
Y'all already knew this was coming.
That comedy show in like Saudi Arabia. Isn't that what they do? You know, that's how they raise money with their filthy fucking oil money.
So funny how it's filthy fucking oil money until it's filling his pockets. Me personally, I think your money is great, so if there's any Saudi princes watching, hit my line. Riyadh Fest isn't about entertainment. It's about the Saudis showing the world how easily they can buy Americans. But the funniest thing of all this, Bill Burr is already rich, so it's not like he needs the money in the first place. Albeit, all these celebrity net worth sites are kind of inaccurate, but they still peg him in like, poof, millions of dollars.
They need to be put down. You know, like fucking rabid dogs. They're like rabid with fucking greed.
You know what I hate way more than billionaires? Millionaires LARPing like they're working class. Like, that shit is beyond annoying.
Then you take that fucking blood money.
Dude, and this guy's getting cooked on his YouTube channel. The dislikes are astronomical. You can't spell billionaires without Bill. Old Billy. I identify as middle class, but I live in the hills, own a helicopter. My wife drives a Tesla. I have a truck and a drum room and party with Hollywood elites. Every single one of us overlooked all that and appreciated you fighting for the little guy, knowing damn well you were richer than all of us. We loved you. And then you went on your knees for the Saudi prince.
I used to listen to him all the time. I've seen him at a couple comedy shows. Very funny. Has COVID definitely impacted his humor though. He's taken some interesting turns.
W lady, she looks like she's personally upset at Bill Burr. He's also married to a black lady who really hates Donald Trump. Like, I'm genuinely questioning if they hate Trump just because he didn't pay them any money.
I think my favorite reaction to the Saudi Comedy Festival has been from Bill Burr, because everyone else is trying to like address the geopolitical moment of right now, and Bill Burr has been tackling like 17th century racism. I don't know if you've listened to his podcast, but he's like, hey guys, I went over there, you wouldn't believe this, they're eating food, and some of the food is the same food that we eat.
Bro, you're making it sound like Bill Burr thought that everyone in the Middle East was like a caveman or something.
When they talk, they look each other in the eyes.
That's like me saying, oh, I watched Attack on Titan, so I learned that refugees are people too. U.S. comic Tim Dillon says Saudi Arabia fired him from Comedy Festival over jokes about slavery. Bro, that's because they weren't jokes, bro. This very well could be U.S. propaganda, but apparently Saudi Arabia has the pretty much the most modern-day slaves.
The rules on what they had about what you could say and what you couldn't say in Saudi Arabia, the people running the festivals will be like, all right, well, man, that's game, set, match. If this is like all you can talk about and you want some good comedians, like this isn't going to work. And then to their credit, they said, all right, what do we got to do? And they just negotiated it all the way down to like, you can talk about anything, you know, other than a couple things, which was basically religion, don't make fun of the royals. And other than that, it was all, everything was like open.
It's like V for Vendetta. If you're unable to make fun of the politicians and the people at the top, does your country really even have freedom? Even the jester could make fun of the king. Oof.
Laughing. All right, so I'm going to push a little farther. All of a sudden, I start getting in the zone. Oh, Billy's feeling loose up there. And my brain just goes gay Jim.
See, that is funny because, you know, one of those things doesn't exist in Saudi Arabia. Instead of making jokes at the expense of gay people, imagine he was defending them. Now that's a whole new story.
For Saudis?
Yeah.
Weren't those the 9/11 guys?
And then Gillis later said that organizers doubled his pay offer, but he refused this significant amount of money so he could take a principled stand.
Dude, they even doubled the amount of money. That is insane. And he still had the balls to decline. Honestly, huge respect. Now, the worst offender is Pete Davidson, whose dad actually died in 9/11.
I've been getting a little bit of flack just because like my dad died 9/11. So they're like, how could you possibly go there? I just, you know, I get the routing and then I see the number and I go, I'll go.
At least you can respect the honesty, I guess. I didn't know George W. Bush was Saudi Arabian.
For legal reasons, that's a joke. Tim Dillon revealed the exact joke from his podcast that got him fired from the Riyadh Comedy Festival just a few weeks before the big gig.
My agent called me and he goes, they heard what you said about them having slaves. And I said, I was being positive about it. I was defending them.
Bro, he didn't do nothing, man. Bring him back.
Disgusted and deeply disappointed in this whole gross thing. That people I admire with unarguable talent would condone this totalitarian fiefdom for what? A fourth house? A boat? More sneakers? You're performing for literally the most oppressive regime on earth. They have slaves, for sake.
The AI doesn't even put Saudi Arabia in top 5. You guys gotta up those numbers.
Let's up those numbers!
In defense of the comedians, one can wonder, why should anybody expect comedians to have higher standards than the president of the United States?
I mean, deflecting onto Trump is surely a tactic, I guess. It's like the definition of a false equivalence. The reason why Bill Burr is catching the most heat is because he built his whole brand on tackling hypocrisy and stuff like that, and now he's swimming in the same shit he was calling out for all the years. He's even mocked people for taking blood money before.
Then you take that fucking blood money and what he's done. You couldn't remember that he claimed he was behind the Pan Am bombings that killed fellow Americans? What the fuck is wrong with you?
And it's not even Saudi Arabia's fault either. They just dangled the carrot that he took the bite. Subscribe to the channel to prove you're not a bald loser.